Hello, welcome to the King James Code number 37 video series. This is part 7. And we're going to be talking about the genetic code in this video. But before we get to the genetic code, let's look at a pattern in the King James Bible. This one's in the book of Revelation. The phrase bright and morning star has a value of 888, this rep digit number, and we're going to see that these repeating digit numbers are part of the genetic code or patterned in there. And 888, as many of you may know, is the value of the name Jesus in the Greek using Greek gematria, 888. So let's get to our Bible text that we're going to be examining for numerical patterns that we will see in the genetic code. Psalms 139, beginning in verse 14, I will praise thee, for I am fearfully and wonderfully made. Marvelous are thy works, and that my soul knoweth right well. My substance was not hid from thee, when I was made in secret, and curiously wrought in the lowest parts of the earth. Thine eyes did see my substance, yet being imperfect, and in thy book all my members were written, which in continuance were fashioned, when as yet there was none of them. How precious also are thy thoughts unto me, O God. Watch this. How great is the sum of them? If I should count them, they are more in number than the sand. When I awake, I am still with thee. And I really threw in verses 17 and 18 because that's what we're doing. We're counting things and we're obtaining the sum of them. Okay, the scientific article we're going to be examining, and I'm going to be showing you screenshots of some of the figures in this article, is the WOW signal of the terrestrial genetic code. This is a peer-reviewed, published paper. There's the URL, where I obtained the PDF file for this. I'll probably try to make a link somehow where you can just click on it and go there. And so this research is by Vladimir Sherbak and Maxim A. Makukov. You know, these are Russian, Kazakhstani researchers. And anyways, let's look at the some of the article. And it says here, the code is a flexible mapping between codons and amino acids. Okay, the code's referring to the genetic code. And it says, and this flexibility allows modifying the code artificially. But once fixed, the code might stay unchanged over cosmological timescales. In fact, it is the most durable construct known. Therefore, it represents an exceptionally reliable storage for, watch this, an intelligent signature. So that's what this paper is about. They're saying there's an intelligent signature in the genetic code. Wow, who put it there? Extraterrestrials, you know, they don't go into detail about that. They're saying it's plausible. But I underlined the part where it says this flexibility allows modifying the code artificially. That should just throw up a red flag there. Genetic engineering and you know, that sort of thing. But what I want to emphasize even more is this idea of an intelligent signature, because that's what the King James Bible Code is. It's a signature, a seal, you know, to show authorship and that sort of thing. Okay, so the article also says, simple arrangements of the code reveal an ensemble of arithmetical and ideographical patterns of the same symbolic language. Okay, simple arrangements. So they're arranging the genetic code, the amino acids and whatnot into logical arrangements and seeing mathematical patterns. And I thought this is kind of a good analogy. It's also an analogy of how the King James Bible Code works. Here we have the digits 1 through 9, and they're arranged in order. We add them up, we get the number 45, which would be the 9th triangular number. But we can maintain this order and just kind of group the numbers. Here we have 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4 plus 567 plus 89. and we get the number 666, 37 times 18. This is still an ordered arrangement, and this is kind of analogous. If you've watched the video series of the King James Code, it's kind of what we take a phrase, a clause, a verse, whatever, and we more or less emulate this idea. Now, there's limitations to what kind of value you're going to get out of this. Try as you may, the number you get will be a multiple of 9. And there's a limit to how large the number can be and to how small the number can be. 45 would be the smallest number you'll be able to get out of this arrangement. And then here's another one. 123 plus 456 plus 78 plus 9 is 666. All right? And like I said, this is what we are basically doing when we're looking at the King James Code. And I want to point out the number 89. I highlighted it because there are 89 chapters that comprise the 4 Gospels: Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. And here's this arrangement. Well, 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 45 plus 6 plus 7 plus 89 is 153. And it's in the 89th chapter of the Bible that we see the 153 fish, 153, the 17th triangular number. It's part of the King James Code. I really haven't talked about it yet, but that's coming in the future. And there is a relationship between the numbers 153 and 666. And we'll talk about that in the future. I believe 153 is a number that's can be used to really unlock the true meaning of the number 666. And I plan on making videos about that. But let me just give you another arrangement. 1 plus 23 plus 45 plus 67 plus 8 plus 9 is 153. And when you see the number 23, just remember that there are 23 chromosome pairs where the DNA is packaged in. So now the genetic code. Here's an image of the genetic code. You can go on Google the genetic code and images, and you're going to get something of this, a figure like this. And basically the codons code for, there's 64 different, not different amino acids. There are only 20 amino acids, but there's a redundancy in the code where like CTT codes for this amino acid, LEU, but CTC also codes for it. So they've put this all together, and there's 64. And if you remember, I mentioned the number 64 kind of prematurely, I believe in the last video, is the phrase Jesus Christ in the Greek is 37 times 64, or 8 squared. So let's continue. In the article, it shows just kind of like this, what he calls this symmetry of the number 37. I'm going to read it here. Digital symmetry of decimals divisible by 37. Leading 0 emphasizes, well, I should say by 037. He wants to emphasize the 0. Leading 0 emphasizes its equal participation in the symmetry. All 3-digit decimals with identical digits, 111, comma, through 999, are divisible by 037. The sum of 3 identical digits gives the quotient of the number divided by 037. Analogous sum for the numbers with unique digits gives the central quotient in the column. Digits in these numbers are interconnected with cyclic permutations that are mere symmetrical in neighbor or columns. Addition instead of division provides an efficient way to perform checksums. See Appendix C. The scheme extends to decimals with more than 3 digits if they are represented as a plus 999 times n. Right, so he's just saying the larger numbers, the 4-digit numbers, he's going to just represent those numbers by 999 times the number plus a rep digit number. And I'm going to show you that in the King James Bible. I'm going to represent some of the numbers that way just to emulate what he's doing. But let me continue. Where n is the quotient of the number divided by 999 and a is the remainder, to which the same symmetry then applies for 3-digit decimals, n equals 0. Numbers divisible by 037 and larger than 999 will be shown in this way. So I'm going to follow his pattern just to show you that this what we're seeing here is in the King James Code. And basically I'm not going to go into depth of this article, but if you read it, he's going to say that the symmetry of the number 37 is a phenomenon of the base 10 number system which we use. And he's saying nature doesn't care about base 10 number system. So therefore, it seems that this was an intentional deal. Some intelligence that understands a base 10 number system did this. So here's a screenshot from the article, and this is the 20 amino acids that the genetic code is made up of, and this is what these amino acids combine to make proteins and whatnot. We're going to keep this simple, and you see that all the amino acids, the main block, there's two parts to the amino acid molecule, what they call the block chain, or they almost all have a value of 74. Okay, 74 is the numerical value of Jesus in English, and there's one exception, is the fourth amino acid, proline. So from the left to right, you'll see the fourth one. He's got a little blue arrow, and he's saying in order to activate these patterns, you have to imagine that we're moving a hydrogen proton from the side chain to the block chain. He calls it the activation key. And all these numbers, they are basically what nucleon counts. And a nucleon is a proton or a neutron. So this is the count, which is kind of different than the actual, I believe it's called the atomic mass or atomic mass unit or something like that, which is going to be a very similar number, but it's generally going to have a few decimal digits following it because they're looking at the total weight of the molecule. And here the counts are just looking at the nucleons, or I'm sorry, neutrons and the protons, which both those are nucleons, and not necessarily their weight. But what I want to point out is a little pattern here that jumps out to me because it's the fourth amino acid, and there's a pattern in the Bible. Pastor Michael Hoggard's pointed this out in his King James Code series, I believe in the number 4 video and elsewhere in Jesus Christ and the DNA. There's a pattern of 4 in the Bible where there's 3 that are the same and the fourth one's different. And we see that with the fourth amino acid. And I'll point out that the 4 corresponds to the Gospel of John. And John contains the 73rd and 74th chapters of the New Testament. And the side chain numbers, look at the numbers, 1, 15, 31, and 42. If you add that up, that's 89. There's 89 chapters in the 4 Gospels. So I see that pattern in there. It's something that I want to explore further. But let's continue. That's a video for another day. Here, he's showing the arrangement of these amino acids and showing how there's a pattern made in what he's called the Egyptian triangle. So there's this triangle in the genetic code, and basically it's the 3-4-5 triangle where 3 squared times 37 is 333, 4 squared times 37 is 592, and 5 squared times 37 is 925. So, which would be the hypotenuse of this triangle, and of course Jesus Christ in extended English gematria has a value of 925. So we're looking at this. I believe he calls this an ideogram, or kind of a picture. And if you notice this 3-4-5, this triangle's a big deal in Freemasonry. The 47th problem of Euclidean geometry, they big deal the number 47. If you want to understand that, it's in your Bible. The phrase Son of God 47 times. You get an idea of what they're talking about. And of course, Jesus Christ is the Son of God. So here's another figure from the article, and I'm just pointing out the numbers. Our article is a very technical article. Like I said, you can go read it yourself. What we need to understand is, what I want to just show you is this in the King James Bible. So I'm giving you the bare bones of this. And this is basically an arrangement of these amino acids in what is called a common Reaumur's transformation. So they came up with methods to group these amino acids in a balanced manner. And he's saying, hey, look at all these number 37s that are popping out, these repeating digit rep numbers, 999 and 999 plus 666, and that should just be a make your ears raise up there. The number 666 showing up in this whole deal. You know, what is the number 666 about? It almost surely is going to have something to do with the genetic code, genetics, DNA, genetic modification. That sort of thing is definitely a possibility, but I'm just highlighting all these 3-digit rep numbers. Look, 888, that's Jesus in the Greek. 777, nobody really understands the number 777, but a lot of Christians, they say, wow, 777, there's got to be something special about that number. And there certainly is, and it's the fact that it's 37 times 3 times 7. It's got that 3-7 pattern or that 3-7 code in there. And that's what this whole video series is about, is the King James Bible code. God put this code in the Greek, He put it in the Hebrew, He put it in the English King James Bible, and it is in the genetic code, and who knows, probably in all of creation. But here's another figure from this article, another arrangement of these amino acids, and you can see the repeating digit numbers, the multiples of 37 coming out. Again, I highlight that this particular arrangement of this amino acid, one of them has a side chain value of 47, and point out that the phrase Son of God occurs in the King James Bible 47 times, and I think it's significant that it's the reverse of the number 74. You know, you reverse that number, you get 47. There's a relationship there. Okay, so now, see, my slides are out of order, but let's go here. Let's go to this pattern in the King James Bible. When I was doing research for the Ultimate King James Code, I came across this pattern. I did not put it in that video because I was going to save it for a different video. But the number 2,738, we're going to see this number. And of course, this pattern is Isaiah 12:6. It says, "Cry out and shout, thou inhabitant of Zion, for great is the Holy One of Israel in the midst of thee." Look at that wording, in the midst of thee, right? You can even take that to the ultimate literal sense of it being inside each and every one of us. In the midst of thee, the Holy One of Israel. This number, 2,738, 4 times 666 plus 74. I just represented that number there just because the numbers are interesting. For one, the number is 666, and of course 74 is the value of Jesus in simple English gematria. But so why do I point this particular number out? Well, here are the 20 amino acids that are coded for in the genetic code. And this screenshot is from the website www.whatabeginning.com. Okay, Vernon Jenkins, a researcher in biblical numerics, fantastic website. Go check it out. Vernon Jenkins, whatabeginning.com. It's also another website called theotherbiblecode.com. It's easy to find. Vernon Jenkins. He's dealt with this subject way more in depth than what I'm dealing with it. And my goal is to show this in the King James Bible. So we're breezing through this so we can get to the King James Bible. But go check it out if you're interested in the details. But basically this chart here is the 20 amino acids and their molar mass. Okay, maybe that was the word I was looking for earlier, where the Wow Signal research paper uses the nucleon count. Well, the number is going to be very similar to the molar mass. Here, the molar mass, so it has the decimal digits that follow the whole number. But what's interesting about it is that there's another researcher who's looking into the genetic code and the number 37, Rakbo. You'll see it on his site. He's a Serbian scientist. And you add up the 20 amino acids, and you take the molar mass out to the 100th of a molar mass. So basically to 2 digits past the whole number. For instance, 89.09. Remember, 89 is the number of chapters in Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. But what's interesting is that these numbers all add up to a whole number. 2,738. 37 times 74. And again, I just want to emphasize that there's the number 37, the 37 genes in the mitochondrial DNA, the amino acids, the 74 nucleon count in the blockchain, 74 being the number value of Jesus in English gematria. It's the value of gematria in simple English gematria. It's the value of cross in simple English gematria. I believe it's the value of Messiah in simple English gematria, the number 74. I know I missed English. Number 74 is the value of English in simple English gematria. And of course, this number could be represented as 4 times 666 plus 74. Just an interesting way to write that number out. So now let's get to the King James Code in Psalm 139. Psalm 139, verse 14, I will praise thee, for I am fearfully and wonderfully made. Here this arrangement yields a value of 3,330. 3 times 999 plus 333 to use the wow signal and the terrestrial genetic code method of representing these larger numbers, and to show how the pattern extends into the numbers numbers that are multiples of 37 that are greater than 3 digits, right? Greater than 999. So let's see. The phrase, for I am fearfully and wonderfully made. Here, this arrangement, we have 7,369, 37 times 199. Okay, the word made occurs 1,406 times in the King James Bible, 37 times 38. The clause for I am fearfully and wonderfully made has a verse count 8,510, which is 37 times 230. This arrangement for the clause I am fearfully and wonderfully made has a value of 740, 37 times 20, and 370 chapters. I am fearfully and wonderfully made. Here, this arrangement has a value of 2,146, 37 times 58. Let's go a little further down. Marvelous are thy works, it says, 296, 37 times 8. Okay, my soul knoweth right well. I thought it was an interesting phrase, and here the value 888 on value of Jesus in Greek gematria. The phrase my soul knoweth, and I want to point this out, only occurs one time, and there's really a significant. I'm really interested in phrases that only occur one time in the King James Bible. I believe they're the key to really unlocking the deeper patterns in the King James Bible. But just to show you this idea of a logical arrangement and how the King James Code works, we just rearrange it. My soul knoweth. I mean, all the words are still there. They're still in order. And here the pattern emerges. And we have, it occurs 222 times, 37 times 6. There's our rep digit number. And 219 verses, 3 times 73. 73, you remember that fourth amino acid, the one that was different, had a blockchain nucleon count of 73 in 137 chapters, a number 137, a number connected with the fine structure constant, a big deal number in physics. I have a video called The Ultimate King James Code, a series, and I'm talking about the number 137. Go check that out. But my soul knoweth. My soul knoweth right well. That clause, 3,552. Again, see, I'm using the notation of the way to represent the number that the article did, just to show you that the pattern, the signature that he's talking about in the genetic code is in the English King James Bible. My soul knoweth 3,552 times, 3 times 999 plus 555. My soul knoweth right well. 274, there's this 137 times 2. Again, the number 137, not divisible by 37, but it is the 33rd prime number and a very important, significant number and part of the King James Code. Here, this arrangement, and that my soul knoweth right well, 777, right? 37 times 3 times 7. So I'm not trying to show every possible pattern that's in Psalms 139 in verses 14, 15, 16. It's just too much. I just want to give a good sample size to show that this is the rule and not the exception. We could have did this with Genesis 1:1. We could have did this with Matthew 1:1. I already did it with Matthew 1:1 as a matter of fact, or we're going to do it with Genesis 1:1, or a John 1:5-7. Just verse after verse. This is a phenomenon that is in the King James Bible from cover to cover. I just chose this verse because we're talking about what seems to be DNA. And I threw this pattern in. It's not a multiple of 37, but the verse count. My soul knoweth right well, 3,773. Very interesting number. 11 times 7 cubed. Remember, the phrase Jesus Christ has 11 letters. So this 3773 is 37 times 73, which is 2,701. And when we reverse 2,701, we get 1,072. If we add those together, we get 3773. 11 times 7 cubed. There are 7, God speaks 7 cubed, 7 times 7 times 7 words in Genesis 1:1 in the Bible. In the first verse where he speaks, it says, and God said, let there be light, and there was light. 11 words. 11 being a number connected with Jesus Christ. Here's another 7 cubed pattern. My soul knoweth right well. Here, 7 times 7 times 7. But let's go to the next verse. It states, Psalms 139:15. My substance was not hid from thee when I was made in secret. Here, the King James Code, we have a value of 444. Here again, my substance was not hid from thee when I was made in secret. This arrangement has a value. It's actually the same arrangement, and we just expanded the search area from the Old Testament to the New Testament and made the phrase was not case sensitive, and here it is. 4,773, multiple of 37, 4 times 999 plus 777. Okay. Staying in that verse, my substance was not hid from thee when I was made in secret and curiously wrought. That phrase, and curiously wrought. Here this arrangement, 16,169, 37 times 437. Curiously wrought where? The Bible says in the lowest parts. The lowest parts has a verse count of 74. 37 times 2. And if you remember the nucleon count of the amino acids, the main block part of the molecule is 74 with the exception of the proline. Curiously wrought in the lowest parts of the earth. Here we have a value or a verse count of 7,141, 37 times 193. So now let's go to verse 16. Psalms 139:16. Thine eyes did see my substance, yet being unperfect. And in thy book all my members were written, which in continuance weren't fashioned, when as yet there was none of them. Now look at the wording there. We're talking about David, and David's talking about him being formed, and it's in a book and written, and the article, when I quoted him, he said that an intelligent like signature in the genetic code, like a book, an author could put a signature in there and say, hey, I'm the guy that wrote this book. Well, that's what God did, and that's the whole point of what I'm stressing here, is that the King James Bible contains the signature of God. And here, this is a value of 1,702, 37 times 46. There's 37 genes in the mitochondrial DNA. And our DNA, the DNA is packaged in the 46 chromosomes. Okay? So both these numbers are connected with genetics. Okay, thine eyes did see my substance, yet being imperfect. This arrangement has a value of 5,957, 37 times 161. Okay, the phrase, yet being imperfect, a value of 370, 37 times 10. And here it is. In thy book all my members were written, which in continuance were fashioned, when as yet there was none of them. The phrase, in thy book, this arrangement has a value of 444 in 407 verses, and 407 is 37 times 11, and I just want to point out how this number 11 returns this 407 pattern when multiplied by 37. Jesus Christ, 11 letters. Son of God, 47 times in the King James Bible. The 47, another significant number in the Bible alongside the number 37. The phrase, my members, here, this arrangement, 3,552. Or 3 times 999 plus 555. Here, the phrase, all my members, here, 5,624, 37 times 152. Okay, were written. 1,776, this is an Old Testament pattern. And 1776 is 888 plus 888. And again, Jesus, in the Greek, has a value of 888. Here, my members were written, 5,550. Okay, 5 times 999 plus 555. This is a verse count. My members were written. And the word Christ occurs 555 times. That's 37 times 15 in the King James Bible. Here, in thy book, all my members were written. 2,590. 37 times 7. Here, which in continuance were fashioned, 1,998, 666 times 3. Of course, I display the number that way for shock value. You know, the number 666 should get your attention. If it wasn't for the number 666, people wouldn't have started counting things in the King James Bible anyways to find that there was a numerical pattern. That's really how the King James Code started, was trying to understand Revelation 13:18, and this is information that is relevant to understanding of what the mark of the beast will all be about. Okay, the phrase were written, or were, okay, there's a typo on my slide. This should be were fashioned. Okay, not were written, were fashioned. I just put the wrong word in there, but this arrangement has a value of 2,775. Again, there's the notation that's used. It's a multiple of 37, has that rep digit pattern that extends into a number greater than 999. The phrase, none of them, has a value, 4,773. Again, it's a multiple of 37, and I'm just giving you a sample of the patterns in the Bible. So this is just a sample, a demonstration of the King James Bible code, and the whole goal is to show that there is a pattern, there is a code in the King James Bible, and we do it with brute force to show the multitude of numerical occurrences and a cloud of witnesses, so to say, to prove this code. And we're going to finish off. We're just going to go to Psalm 137, Psalm 139, verse 17. How precious also are thy thoughts unto me, O God, how great is the sum of them. The phrase, O God, how great is the sum of them. We have a value of 1,492, 1,492, 373 times 4. And of course, the 373 is the 74th prime number, and 74 being the value of Jesus in English gematria, but the number 373 is the value of the Greek word logos, which is the English word for word. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. That Greek word there for word has a value of 373. Not a coincidence. So I enjoyed making this video, and I'm not sure what the next video is going to be, but I really look forward to making it. Thanks for watching.